Okay, here's a quick little video about using project and intersect when you're doing your modeling, uh, what what they do and how they can be used. Um, what I found is project and intersect basically do the same thing. There are some different applications where you need to use one or the other, but there is a good degree of overlap. Okay, so let's look at an example here. We have some geometry here, and let's say that I want to make a sketch that is off of this face, right? To include the geometry here for a new a new face. So I can go to create a sketch, and I can pick this surface right here. Okay, um, and then but notice that on this surface, on this sketch surface or sketch plane, I don't have any of the geometry that's on this back surface, right? That's offset from this. So what I can do is I can use the project command, and that's going to project edges onto my sketch plane. So let me take one. We'll project this curve in there. So I'm just going to move over this curve and click on it and hit OK, and then you can see what happens. It projects this curve onto the sketch plane. So we can continue with that. We can go back to project, and maybe I want this circle or hole to be projected on, so I can click on that and say OK, and it projects that onto that face or that sketch plane. So now I can use it in my geometry in my new sketch plane. I can reference it, I can dimension to it, I can apply geometry to it. We can do entire surfaces by going to project, and then notice as I move over and click in that space, it will choose the whole. It will project all of these edges onto this sketch plane. Okay, so that's what that is used for. Whenever you want to bring geometry forward onto a sketch plane. All right. Now, let me finish this sketch, and let's go to another model here where I don't really have sharp edges. I have curves. So when I go to sketch, and let me choose this plane right here, and then I go to project. Let's see what happens when I pick on this, and I'm going to pick the whole cylinder and all the geometry, and I'm going to say OK. And then it might be a little bit hard to see, so I'm going to hide that body. And you can see it only projects edges, right? There's an edge there, there's an edge there, and of course this is an edge. It doesn't project the curves. So how do we get the curves to project? Well, let me back up. Let's back up here. Let's back up from this. All right, so I'm back in the sketch. I don't have anything projected, and I'm going to go to create project. I'm going to go to intersect, and I'm going to pick this here, and I'm going to say, whoops, let's go to entities, and I'll pick that right there, and then I can go to bodies, and I can pick that as well, and I can say OK, and now you can see. Let me turn off this body. What it projected. All right, so now it picked up the curves here, and it projected the intersection of the curves onto the sketch plane. Okay, and you can see that I had a hole going down the middle. So let me show you what geometry I had there. Let me turn on that. Oops, let's turn on that. So you can see here that I had a hole going through the whole object, and then both vertically and then a horizontal hole. So it projected the edges onto that, or correctly, it intersected the edges. So there is a slight difference between intersect and project. There are cases where it would do the same thing. All right, so let me delete this one, and let's go back to sketch, and I'll pick this surface in there again, and I'll go to project, and this time I'm going to project bodies, and I'll pick that right there, and I'll say okay, and let's hide the bodies. So it projected the curves onto the sketch plane. It did not pick up the vertical hole, right? But it did pick up the horizontal hole. So long story short, when you're doing your modeling, project and intersect can be used almost interchangeably. Basically, when you want to project edges onto a sketch plane, try project. If they're curves, you might have to use intersect. Remember that you have, hold on, let me go back to a sketch. Let's go back into here. Remember that you have project bodies and specified entities. Again, there's a great degree of overlap here. Specified entities are used when I just want to project a circle or a curve or an edge, right? When you go to bodies, that's where it's going to pick everything else up. So there's a great degree of overlap. They both project and intersect are used to do the same thing. Bring geometry forward from other bodies onto a new sketch plane. Okay, so good luck. Try that out. Play around with that. Give it a test run. And let me know what you think. All right, bye.